Holiday weekend. Take a look here. Sky 9 is flying towards the Bay Bridge in Annapolis, so they are headed to the east right now, and you can see traffic headed towards the bridge, headed towards the eastern shore. Man, it is thick right now, and it is only going to get worse as we inch closer to 5 and 6 o'clock tonight. We are tracking your holiday travel on the roads and in the skies, and we are going to be talking about your Labor Day weekend forecast. Michaela.
Well, hey, Adam. Yep, I have got a beautiful forecast ahead. I'm going to walk you through the 7-day in just a couple minutes, and I'll tell you when our next rain chance is as well.
A devastated family reacts to the bicycle accident that killed David Glenn Jenkins II. I'm Scott Broom in Germantown. Coming up, police are looking for other vehicles that might have left the scene.
And get ready to pay up what you need to do for the best budget to return student federal loan payments.
WUSA9 Weather Watch is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
And WUSA9 News at 4 begins with your Labor Day forecast. We're taking a live look here at Virginia Beach. If you're looking to head out to the beach, that's what it looks like. Sunny skies, calm surf. You'll be sharing the beach with some neighbors and some seagulls. A great beach day to get out there. Now, if you plan to get on the road in the next few hours, here is again what it looks like along the Bay Bridge. This is from one of our MDOT traffic cameras, and things are actually moving pretty good right now. It looks like in both directions, eastbound and westbound. Who's going westbound on Labor Day holiday weekend? Now, everyone's going to the shore, and millions are taking to the friendly skies for this holiday weekend. Here is a live look at Reagan National Airport, where it looks like traffic is fine on the runways and taxiways as well. Listen, for the first time in 23 years, so glad you could join us here this afternoon for WUSA 9 News at 4. I'm Adam Longo. So a lot of people are counting on, crossing their fingers for some good weather this holiday weekend. One person who I know is keeping an eye on that is our meteorologist, Michaela Lucero, who is with us this afternoon. You've been showing us the 7-day forecast as we've been inching deeper into the week. Looks like it's going to get warmer. How are things shaping up?
It is going to be gorgeous outside, Adam. It's going to feel like summer as we head into the next couple of days. We're just going to give you this 7-day forecast right off the bat. Give the people what they want to see. Here's what we've got for this weekend. Temperatures are going to stay in the 80s only on Saturday. That's the last kind of comfortable day before things really start to heat up. By Sunday, our high temperatures are back in those mid-90s, and with the 90s comes that humidity as well. It will feel just a touch on the sticky side out there. For the holiday, if you are headed out and about, this is one of the hottest days we're going to feel for the rest of the year. We're going to make it to about 96 degrees on Monday. So if you're planning maybe an outdoor barbecue or you're just trying to spend some time in the sun, don't let that heat sneak up on you. I know it's kind of the time of year where the heat starts to go away, but make sure you're staying nice and hydrated, taking breaks in the shade if you can, and just not being out in the sun too much. As we get into Tuesday, even warmer. Right now we're staying at about 98 degrees, but between Monday and Tuesday, I had models trending in the low triple digits. So I'm saying mid to upper 90s, but don't be surprised if over the next few days, as we hone in this forecast a little bit more, if these temperatures start to climb up just a bit more. All right, we're going to stay in the 90s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with lots of sunshine across the region. If you're going out to any of those Nats games, sunglasses, well, you are definitely going to need them there. It is just going to be gorgeous for the next couple of days. Enjoy the holiday weekend. Be extra cautious at the beaches as we do have a chance for some rip currents, and I'll give you a look at what the rip current risk is and how to keep yourself safe as well coming up in a few minutes.
See you again in a minute, Michaela. Thank you. Now, we want to hear from you. How are you planning to spend this Labor Day holiday weekend? Text us at 202-895-5599, and we will share some of your responses right here on the show. Got a lot of news that we're covering for you this afternoon. Let's get to this in Prince George's County first, where we are learning more about a deadly barricade situation in Fort Washington. Michael Birch is accused of shooting and killing his own wife and son. This happened last night at the family's home on Tall Timber Court. Police got the call just after 5:30 yesterday evening. But when police arrived, Birch refused to leave the home, and that led to a standoff. Police arrested him 5 hours later. Investigators tell us Birch's wife, Rory, and his son, Michael Jr., both died before officers that arrived. Birch also apparently shot a neighbor who went to the home to help the victims. We're told that person is expected to survive. Our Leslie Moreno spent the day talking with the neighbors there. She will have a live report for us coming up at 5 o'clock. All right, covering Washington County, we are working to learn the identity of the person who was killed during this really big crash in Hagerstown, Maryland. Sky 9 was here over the scene this morning. State police say 4 tractor trailers and 2 cars were involved. It happened on I-81 at Showalter Road in Washington County. We don't know how many people got injured right now. The cause of this deadly crash is still under investigation. As is this one. We've got new information on a deadly crash that happened in Montgomery County. A heartbroken family in Germantown, Maryland, telling us about the loss of 28-year-old cyclist David Glenn Jenkins II today. And they told us in the hopes of putting the focus on safety and justice. You see, police say they are now looking for a second vehicle that might have been involved in his death on a busy section of Frederick Road Wednesday evening. Here's more from Scott Broom in Germantown.
David Glenn Jenkins II was 28 years old, but still loved BMX bikes, and he rode all the time.
It's devastating.
Sister Xavier Rogers speaking with her family about the accident that killed Jenkins on Frederick Road in Germantown Wednesday night. His family calls him Day Day.
It's hurtful because people be in such a rush to get someplace and speeding and not paying attention to what they're doing. And the impact of their mistakes, it impacts everybody else.
Jenkins' mother is Jamie Mason.
He always worried about us getting hurt, more concerned about everybody else than himself.
This accident happened here at the intersection of Frederick Road and Gunners Branch in Germantown about 10 Wednesday night. Jenkins, riding his bike home from the store, was hit by a sedan. That driver stopped. But Montgomery County Police say they're investigating the possibility other vehicles may have been involved and left the scene. Jenkins' family believes he was struck by a second vehicle that tossed his body in the opposite direction.
I do want justice for my brother.
And then there is the matter of safety on this section of Frederick Road in Germantown, where county data mapping shows 15 pedestrian accidents between Gaithersburg and Middlebrook Road and 6 fatal vehicle accidents since 2015.
Y'all are ignoring the community and what we need and what we ask for. And this fatal results in return. And that's not fair to us.
Montgomery County Master Plan documents call for pedestrian and bike safety improvements nearby on Germantown Road and a section of Frederick Road between Germantown and Clarksburg, but nothing listed here at the intersection where Jenkins was killed. In Germantown, Scott Broom, WUSA9.
All right, we have an update for you on a case that we've been following out of D.C. Around lunchtime, a judge sentenced Troy Reynolds to time served, meaning he does not have to go back to jail. Now, Reynolds is the bus driver who pleaded no contest after prosecutors say he drove a busload full of D.C. elementary school kids while he was drunk. We'll have reaction from the courtroom tonight, coming up on WUSA9 News at 5 and 6. Federal student loan borrowers are going to need to adjust their finances pretty soon. Today, interest started accumulating again on federal student loans. Those loans were paused 3 years ago because of the pandemic. Payments are set to resume again in October. The Biden administration tried to deliver up to $20,000 of relief to millions of borrowers, but that program got blocked by the Supreme Court in June. Now there is a new option to help give some relief.
Under my new plan, we're reducing that payment to just 5% of your disposable income.
Under the president's SAVE plan, interest will not accumulate as long as borrowers make monthly payments. More than 1 million low-income borrowers will qualify for a $0 monthly payment.
People look at how much they owe, they get discouraged, and they just get paralyzed. If you are not sure you have enough money, call your loan servicer. Figure out the right payment plan for you and take action. I'm telling you, this debt will haunt you for decades. So call and see what is possible.
Now, the president's SAVE plan is expected to begin next summer. There's also a new program that we'll be able to tell you about from the White House that they are working on right now. That new program is called On-Ramp to help people avoid the worst consequences if they miss their loan payments. All right, how about we take you out live to US 50 right now. We are tracking your holiday commute. We got Sky9 flying over the Bay Bridge in Annapolis. It looks like they have gone over the bridge, so this is entering the eastern shore, coming into Kent Narrows and Rum and Coke. You can see that the traffic right now, this is likely the traffic that is moving westbound, so about to get on the bridge, but it looks like, if I'm correct here, and this is the traffic that's moving eastbound, once you get across the Bay Bridge, things are looking pretty smooth right now if you're trying to head out there for your holiday weekend travel. On the other side of the bridge, though, We'll be checking on that as we move throughout the show to see how conditions are approaching the bridge, because you know everybody and their dog is trying to, yeah, see, here it is. Everybody is trying to get across the shore to get to the beach for one last blast this summer. We're following that closely and some other news today. WUSA9 News at 4 will be right back.
And before we're right back, let me tell you about the forecast a little bit. Heading into the weekend, bright, sunny skies. It's going to be gorgeous out there. I'll have a full breakdown of the forecast in just a few minutes.
Welcome back. Virginia's personal property taxes are sending some of our neighbors into sticker shock. Coming up at 4:30, what's to blame and where you might find some relief. All right, developing today, there are also some big changes when it comes to who is eligible for food stamps. Able-bodied adults up to 50 years old who don't have kids will now have to show proof that they are working at least 80 hours a month. If they can't work, they need to prove that they are enrolled in an education or training program. Next month, that age requirement goes up to 52. People experiencing homelessness and veterans are exempt from those new mandates. The Food and Drug Administration says it still plans to finalize a ban on menthol cigarettes, but yeah, they're running behind schedule. The FDA initially set a deadline for August of this year, but now that deadline has come and gone. The agency is coming up with an alternative plan. The FDA plans to finalize the ban in the coming months. Sorry that we're frozen on that guy. A new report shows employers are still hiring, but there are signs that the job market is slowing down. Overall, in August, employers added 187,000 jobs, and the unemployment rate jumped from 3.5% to 3.8%. That is the highest number since February of 2022. Now, experts say this comes after an explosion of hiring when pandemic lockdowns got lifted.
Last year, the pace of hiring was almost breathtaking, and now we're averaging about 40% lower than last year's monthly hiring pace.
Even though parts of the job market are slowing, workers are making more. The report says wages are up 4.3% from last year. The Biden administration is calling on Congress to pass a temporary spending bill to keep the government running. Yeah, we're talking about the possibility of another government shutdown. Again, unless Congress acts, the government's going to run out of money on September 30th. Now, the short-term bill would buy time for lawmakers while they negotiate a broader spending deal. If the government actually shuts down, most federal workers would get furloughed and federal assistance programs would come to a halt.
This is their job. I'm talking about them doing their job and making sure that the government doesn't shut down. It is not a difficult thing. It is very simple.
Now, the Senate returns from summer break next week. The House comes back on September 12th. Looking ahead, President Biden plans to visit Florida tomorrow to look at the damage from Hurricane Idalia. Idalia hit the state as a Category 3 storm. Billions of dollars in property loss is estimated in Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. President Biden is also asking Congress for more money to replenish FEMA's disaster relief fund. So far this year, the federal government says there have been more than a dozen weather-related disasters, each exceeding $1 billion in damages. The current disaster fund is expected to run out sometime this month.
WUSA9 Weather Watch is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
All right, so the Labor Day holiday weekend is upon us. Meteorologist Michaela Lucero here to dig into more of the details on that. And I've seen this crescendo going upwards of temperatures.
Can you believe we're going to be near 100 degrees again?
I can't believe it's September 1st, so there's plenty of things I can't believe.
September 1st is also the official start of meteorological
fall. There
I
you
almost
go.
said summer.
No.
Meteorological fall.
We're just not going to feel it.
Astronomical fall doesn't
No.
start till the 23rd, so we kind of have a little taste of summer still sticking around.
Okay.
But we do see a cool off later on in the month for our long-term trends. But let's talk about tropics, because those tropics are actually going to impact us at home.
That's a lot.
So yes, it is. Yeah, take it in, okay? This is a very busy graphic. I apologize for all of the words on there, but that's what's going on in the Atlantic Basin. We have got so many named storms at the moment. None of them are over land, but yes, it's busy. So we have post-tropical storm Idalia. Then we have Hurricane Franklin. Then we also have Tropical Storm Jose. Then Tropical Depression Gert. Yes, Gert has redeveloped and it is back in town. And then we also have Tropical Depression 12. So that's an area of potential development that we're watching off the coast of Africa. A good chance we're seeing that one develop. If it does, the name you should be listening for is Katya. But what we got to talk about is Jose and Franklin. Jose is actually going to be absorbed into Franklin, and Franklin will then become the dominant storm. So Jose is going to go away over the next couple of days because Franklin is going to gobble it up. We're also watching Idalia. It is expected to redevelop into a tropical storm over the next couple of days. With the additional power from that system, we will still have to watch that chance for rip currents as we head into the holiday weekend. So right now, we do have that high risk for the entire East Coast heading into both Saturday, and I do believe this will extend into Sunday as well. So if you plan to head out to the beach, I know we were just showing you a bunch of traffic cameras of people headed out towards the eastern shore. It is going to be beautiful outside, but it's also going to be kind of dangerous to get in the water. So something to keep in mind. Let's talk a little bit about rip currents. What exactly is a rip current? It's one area of very strong water pulling you out to sea, and it's very difficult to fight against that current. So if you find yourself stuck in one heading into this weekend, you don't want to swim against that current. You're going to lose all of your energy, which is dangerous. You want to swim parallel to the shore, and that will get you out of the rip current, and then you can swim back in. If you can't do that, tread water and call for help. Try to swim on a beach where we've got lifeguards present so they can keep an eye on you as well. All right, back here in the DMV, it is gorgeous outside. Blue skies, sunshine, temps at 81 degrees. We are seeing just some of that way up high cloud cover, our cirrus clouds, but it's really not filtering out a whole lot of sunshine. It's still gorgeous. A little bit of a breeze from the east-northeast, a cool breeze. So it might be a good evening to open up the windows and let in some fresh air. Right now, temperatures are sitting in the 80s across the region. These temps coming into our newsroom just 4 minutes ago. We're at 81 right now in D.C., 80 in Gaithersburg, Leesburg, and Manassas, both at 81 as well, in the upper 70s as you head further out towards the west. All right, here's a breakdown of your forecast for this evening. Temperatures will fall into the 60s, 50s for some. Clear skies all night long. We are going to have another really beautiful moon. So if you do want to go out later on tonight to go look at that, take some pictures, we would love to see any pictures that you take. You can share them with us on our WUSA9 Weather Watchers Facebook page or send them in using our app using Near Me. We would love to see them. Maybe we'll feature them on one of our newscasts later on today. All right, let's talk about Labor Day. The 3-day forecast for you. 84, 94, 96. It is going to get hot out there between the next couple of days. If you enjoy the 80s, soak it up on Saturday while you can, because it is just going to continue to get hotter and hotter and hotter over the next couple of days. Sunny skies, but it will be a touch humid. Now, if you're going to anywhere across the eastern shore for the next couple of days, notice here on Futurecast, it's clear and quiet. We are still seeing some showers for Florida and Georgia, and we are going to watch those areas because those are many areas that were impacted significantly already from Idalia. But the rest of the East Coast is looking clear and beautiful. This is Sunday evening. Not a whole lot to show you, so make sure you've got the sunscreen, the sunglasses, the hat. Bring it all with you as you're headed out to any of those outdoor plans for this holiday weekend. All right, here we go for your 7-day forecast. Gnats are at home. If you're going to those games, sunglasses are needed. The holiday, bright, sunny, but it's no longer our hottest day. Right now, I'm saying 98 on a Tuesday, hot and sunny there. We'll start to fall back into the 80s by Friday, and that's also going to be our next best chance for a few showers. Don't go anywhere. We've got more news and weather in just a few minutes.
All right, we're back and we're following some breaking news in Prince George's County. We're going to go out there live right now because police are giving us an update on a homicide investigation. Let's listen in.
Provide a significant update on the homicide investigation that you all have been covering for the past couple months. First, I'd like to introduce our chief, Chief Aziz, and I'd like to bring up the leaders of Prince George's County.
Good afternoon. I am Malik Aziz, Chief of Police, Prince George's County. Today, I would like to announce the arrest of 33-year-old Harold Landon III of University Park, Maryland, for the murder of 59-year-old Mariam Sela of Greenbelt, Maryland. The Prince George's County Police Department has worked in partnership with Chief Bowers and the Greenbelt Police Department, the FBI Baltimore Field Office, Anne Arundel County Police Department, Charles County Sheriff's Office, the Calvert County Sheriff's Office, Maryland Coordination and Analysis Center, and the Maryland National Capital Park Police, Chesapeake Search and Rescue, Calvert County K-9 Search and Rescue Team, and the Prince George's County State's Attorney, Aisha Braveboy, and her team to bring this case to justice and give the family a degree of comfort. I extend my condolences to Dr. Fatima Touré, who is over to my right, and that we bring a degree of justice to her and her family upon the senseless murder of her sister, and we have full intentions to bring that forth in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead. On July 29th, 2023, Miss Mariam Sela went for an evening walk in the 6900 block of Hanover Parkway and did not return. A friend of the family contacted the Greenbelt City Police Department to report her missing. On August 1st, at approximately 4:30 p.m., a concerned citizen contacted PGPD police concerning what appeared to be human remains in the 7300 block of Old Alexander Ferry Road in Clinton, where a dismembered body was discovered. Through various investigative techniques and tireless work of detectives, they were able to develop Harold Landon III as a suspect in this murder. Detectives discovered that he was in the park at the same time of the abduction and later identified through his vehicle. Through DNA evidence, the remains were identified as those of missing teacher Miss Sela. Miss Sela was a much beloved teacher and a member of our community, a valued member of our community. But I want to thank the men and women of our Prince George's County Police Department's Major Crimes Division Homicide Unit, and that includes the Greenbelt Police Department for their unyielding efforts in their efforts to bring to justice Harold Landon for the murder of Mrs. Sela. Lead Detective John Wood, Lieutenant King, Sergeant Russell, Detective Visball, Detective Paz, Detective Lynn, Detective Munawa. They have worked countless and tireless hours in what I believe is the finest homicide unit in the nation to bring Harold Landon to justice. And so I want to personally thank them for their diligent efforts and the coordination with our other counterparts, and especially our relationship with the municipality with Chief Bowers and his team at Greenbelt. Thank you so much. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our leader, our county executive, Ms. Angela Also Brooks.
Good afternoon. I'd just like to first express all of our very, very sincere sorrow and grief upon the loss of one of our beloved teachers, Miss Mariam Sela. She is today acknowledged. The principal of her school is here from Dora Kennedy French Immersion School. I want to thank him for his presence, as well as the president of our Prince George's County Teachers Association. I want to thank her for being present as well, and to say to all of the young people who love Miss Sela, who we've heard from over the last few weeks, the second grade students that she taught, to tell all of those students as well that we express our condolences and grief to them as well. I want to just, as well as Miss Sela's family, her sister is here today. Dr. Torre wanted to also express our condolences.
All right, looks like we lost our signal there from Upper Marlboro and the Prince George's County Police Department. As we just heard an update there from the Chief, Malik Aziz, in Prince George's County. After more than a month After a Greenbelt second grade teacher went missing, they have made an arrest in the case. Apparently her dismembered body was found in a park. Apparently we got our signal back. Let's go back in and listen to the county executive.
Work as well. These cases are cases that really do strike at the heart of all of us. To have a beloved member of our community taken away from us in this way is just so devastating. We have so much work to do. We are really, our resolve is strengthened, that we will continue to work hard to make sure that, that every member of our community is safe. And I'd like to also say that we are in a time, especially as we approach this holiday weekend, where we want everyone, this case is still under investigation, and so we will know at the appropriate time how this case came to be, but I know there are so many, especially domestic violence victims, who are suffering at this moment and want to remind them of the resources that we have available to them at the Family Crisis Center, for example. We'll make that information available, and to say to anyone who is aware of circumstances like this to please make sure they reach out to us and make sure that we can get the help that is needed. So again, thank you to Chief Aziz for his leadership, Mr. Stanton, who is here as well. Want to thank our Public Safety Director and others for their hard work in bringing this arrest forward. And I will hand over now to our State's Attorney, Aisha Braveboy, for her comments as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam County Executive, and thank you so much for our partnership and your leadership of this great county. And I also want to thank my partner, Chief Aziz, for your work on this case, as well as my partner, Chief Bowers, who from the very beginning, when Miss Sela was determined that she was missing, worked tirelessly to track every lead down to find her. I want to thank my Principal Deputy, Jason Abbott, who worked with Chief Bowers, as well as ASA Jonathan Church, who will be handling this case along with myself. So this is a very sad day, very sad outcome. I know that many individuals in our community prayed for Miss Sela. I know that our teachers union organized vigils. I know that her school was constantly in prayer, and so I want to thank her principal for being here as well. At this stage of the case, the individual who has been identified as a suspect is being charged. He will be presented to the commissioner for an initial appearance at some point over the next several hours. And we expect him to have a bond review on Tuesday. And so essentially we'll know probably early Tuesday morning that he is on the bond list, but it's very likely that he'll be on the bond list for 1:15 on Tuesday. So we look forward to continuing to update you as we move forward with this case. And to Ms. Torre, we are just, our heart goes out to you. There are no words to express how we feel. I have a sister myself, and I can't imagine losing my sister in this way. And I know that Ms. Alsa Brooks also has a sister. And so that bond that we have is special. And to lose a sibling in this horrific way, it's unimaginable. So we will do everything in our power to get justice for you, for your sister, for your entire family, for our teachers, for our schools, and our entire community. Thank you.
Anything about what this was about? I see that this man has been locked up since early August on a domestic violence charge. Is that in any way related to this? What was the motive here?
Well, the domestic violence charge is not related to this. We don't believe that to be related. If you want information on the domestic violence per se, we have the chief over here. He can answer any questions on that if you would like.
What was the motive of this?
Well, we don't know at this particular time. We don't have any motive. Our detectives, you heard me mention earlier about the hard work that our detectives do. They're putting the pieces together. It is, You hear this term, it's a fluid investigation, it's an active investigation. Those are meaningful words. They are putting together the pieces of a puzzle to try to find out. I will say this, though. Motives in these cases, even if it exists, there in no way would it bring any resolve to a family for this whatever reason. It's senseless. It doesn't make any. It's the type of violence is depraved, and it wouldn't make any difference to me. It's just it's disturbing. Any other question? Go ahead.
I am gathering from Brad's question, you do not believe that the suspect and Madam Sela had any prior contact to their deadly encounter?
At this particular time, this appears to be stranger to stranger. At this particular time, when we are investigating these type of things, we always leave door open for something that could have been missed. But our detectives have been working really hard to make those connections, and we haven't found any connection that these two people knew each other. And I don't believe they knew each other. I just think we have a person who decided to go out and commit a horrific crime. The most horrific crime you can do is murder, and do that for some unknown, unjustifiable reason. From my notes, from what I said earlier, when the concerned citizen, that was 7300 block of Old Alexander Ferry Road in Clinton, 7300 block. She went walking in the 6900 block. They found her body in the 7300. Any other questions that we would have for myself or any other? Okay, all right. Thank you Brian.
Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, everybody. And we'll be around if you want to talk to anybody. Thank you.
So you've been listening live to the Prince George's County Police Chief Malik Aziz there, giving us an update on a story that we have followed closely here at WUSA9 for the past month. A second grade teacher, Miriam Silla, went missing after going for a walk on July 29th, so a little more than a month ago. And no one had heard from her. She was reported missing by family members the next day. The chief bringing forward the information tonight that she was apparently the victim of a homicide by a man. 33-year-old Harold Landon III is the suspect who's under arrest. The chief there saying that they don't have any information that these two had any sort of prior connection, that they were strangers to one another, and also saying that they're unclear on any motive. But the police detectives working this case were able to determine, after finding her body apparently dismembered in a park in Clinton, able to bridge and make a connection with this suspect who's now under arrest. Our reporter Leslie Moreno is in the room there, who are hoping to get maybe some additional information or bring this all forward to you as we continue with the news today at 5 and 6 o'clock. We're going to take a quick break here for WUSA9 News at 4, and we will be right back. So in about 7 hours from now, targeted curfew enforcement is going to start in D.C. for kids 16 and under. D.C. police have been getting ready to ramp up patrols in specific areas of the district. The goal is to help reduce youth crime rates. Eric Flack has been looking into the history of curfew in D.C. So, Flack, this isn't a brand new idea in the district, is it?
No, Longo, it's been around for a while. There's been a curfew law on the books in D.C. as far back as 1995. How strictly that curfew is enforced is the story here. Mayor Bowser said yesterday that starting tonight, the curfew enforcement will be more focused and potentially more frequent depending on what police see. So let's take a look at the curfew times for 16-year-olds and younger, 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 12:01 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Police are focusing on 7 neighborhoods where Mayor Bowser says they're seeing large groups of young people gathering. One of them is the U Street corridor, where a 16-year-old girl killed another 16-year-old girl over the weekend. If your child violates the curfew, officers pick them up and take them to the Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services until a parent or guardian comes to get them, likely the next morning. This is a change from when the curfew law was initially established and officers actually took kids to the police station. Mayor Bowser said the idea behind changing that was to connect kids with officials and get them down another path and connected to the right services. We'll see how it works out, Longo.
None of us wants to be in a position where we're teaching children that there are no consequences for bad activity. Because if we don't teach them, they're going to learn it one way or the other. And they're going to learn it, unfortunately, by going to a hospital, going to a funeral, or going to jail.
Now, there are a few exceptions to the curfew, like if a child with a guardian, or if a child is with a guardian, or they're coming home from a job without making any stops. But again, Adam, police are going to be ramping up enforcement starting tonight at midnight. And I think the real question we're all going to be watching is how many kids they're taking to youth rehabilitation services and whether or not this is an effective way to kind of curb violence in D.C.
Yeah, trying to get a handle on this youth crime problem. They've got a lot to balance here, how to treat these kids who they're going to have to violate from this curfew. A lot to follow here. We appreciate the update. Flack, thank you.
All
right, we're tracking Metro this afternoon, and we've got some good news for commuters on the Green Line. Metro is reopening 4 of its stations tomorrow. Greenbelt, College Park, Hyattsville Crossing, and the West Hyattsville stations, well, they've been closed since late July because of summer maintenance. So they're going to be shiny new, aren't they? This is 3 days before the scheduled reopening date. Metro says the project was also completed under budget. All right, parents, check this out. An important recall alert that you need to know about. This involves a product that your kid might use. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission is recalling more than 85,000 of the Boone Flair and Flair Elite high chairs. Officials say the bolts used to secure the seats of those high chairs to the base can come loose. And that'll allow the seats to detach and then fall to the ground, and then your kid is going to fall to the ground too. Dozens of falls have already been reported. The recall covers any high chair sold before September of 2016. So if you have this high chair, stop using it immediately. You can also contact the company for a free repair kit. Trader Joe's is also issuing the store's 6th recall since July. The FDA says bags of black bean tamales contain milk products. But they don't say that on the packaging. So all affected products have been pulled from shelves across 9 states. You're asked to either throw those tamales out or you can bring them back to the store and they will hook you up with a refund. All right, this afternoon, WUSA9 looking out for your money. Maybe you've noticed used vehicle prices have skyrocketed, especially since the start of the pandemic. Virginia car owners already pay the highest average property tax in the country. It's gone down for many, but now it's costing some owners even more. One woman from Fairfax County tells our Matthew Torres it's costing a lot more.
In a year of inflation, Annandale resident Marie Cheek feels deflated by her recent tax bill.
I was just shocked. I thought it was a mistake.
She must now pay a lot more in her personal property tax on her white Dodge Ram.
It's $1058.98 and $22. That was the first one. And then this year it is $1462.83.
But people in the same position question this sticker shock.
The vehicles are older. They've got more miles on them. Why did the value go up?
So what's happening here is market driven. increases in demand for these vehicles.
Fairfax County Chairman Jeff McKay says as cars were assessed on January 1st, there were lingering effects when values spiked amid low car supply during the pandemic, including used vehicles. But with the help of the county's 10% tax relief, 97% of registered vehicles in the county had their car value decline or stay the same this year.
The board has taken action within what we can do legally to try to relieve some of that stress.
But he acknowledges how it's been the opposite for some vehicle owners like Cheek.
There's something specific about your model that has made it more valuable. Maybe it was discontinued. Maybe over the course of the last year, you've seen price reductions of that car that aren't realized yet.
But if there's good news, values have been going down since January 1st, which McKay says will likely reflect in next year's bill.
We can swing it this time.
And hopefully give Cheek and her husband a peace of mind.
Between the housing taxes and the tax on our vehicles, they're pricing us out. We're almost 70 years old.
Matthew Torres, WUSA9.
All right, vehicle tax payments are due October 5th. Chairman McKay says the county offers payment plans, but you should call the tax administration quickly. But if you feel the value is off, there is an appeals process. Let's take you to break.